Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body. Because I am more than physical matter, I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. I deeply desire to expand, to experience, to know, to understand, to control, to use such greater energies and energy systems as may be beneficial and constructive to me and to those who follow me. I deeply desire the help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal to or greater than my own. I ask their guidance and protection from any influence or any source that might provide me with less than my stated desires.
Do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. Do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm the void one.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
All broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the Mossy Creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void live here on the Fringe FM. Mary Dusina is with us. It's another edition of Cosmic Conditions here on your New Moon broadcast. And if you guys want a free reading tonight, you may get that free reading after we go through the signs, after we do all the talking and talking about the energies. You can call in at 501-777-5631. Not a moment too soon, but not a moment too late. And if you can't get through, keep trying. That's all I can tell you. And for those of you guys that came out to the music show last night, that was fun. Thank you guys for doing that. Like, I love radio. I love old school radio. I'm probably going to do it and die with it if it dies, but I don't believe it will. And Mary Dusina herself comes from a very prestigious radio background in Florida, so she knows all about it too, and has been here for several years now. So if you see me swinging my arms and stuff, that's because I'm fighting pterodactyls off here in the shack. Don't pay no attention to it, but pay close attention to what Mary Dusina has to say tonight, because I've got a good feeling about this new moon, especially if you've been around the negative nannies. It's time to buck up and get stuff done. Mary, it's good to have you back. What's happening in those skies?
I liked it when you said you're fighting off pterodactyls. I didn't know if it was the chickens or the cat or the cicadas that are coming out. I don't know if they're in Arkansas, but they've emerged in Tennessee, and it's fascinating. You know, when I thought, just as a lark, I thought, you know what, I'm going to type in on the Brave internet site and DuckDuckGo and Google, and I'm going to just type in, what is the spiritual medicine totem meaning of the cicadas, and it talks about a whole bunch of interesting things. I'm going to let you guys do the research, because when something, happy new moon, when something emerges in nature, this is Taurus, and it's about nature, Mother Earth and nature. It's the first fixed Earth sign. And our Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So when something comes up in an Earth sign, it automatically is favoring and blessing the other two earth signs that we have in our cosmic birth chart. So you don't have to just be a Taurus to get the blessings, but if you happen to be a Taurus, happy birthday, and then you're a Virgo or a Capricorn, or those positions are strong, and let's say you know nothing about astrology. I'm here to tell you that this is got a sweet spot full moon, new moon energy to it. Full moon will be in Sagittarius over the 23rd of May. And so the Taurus energy right now is saying, what is Mother Nature showing you? Is it cooler than normal, or is there a certain bird that's catching your attention? Are you finding that, I squeal with delight just like when I was a little child growing up in the mountains. I squeal with happiness whenever I see the Fay Kingdom lightning bugs come alive every year. I love to see the lightning bugs hopping around outside, but this year we went from like no bugs at all. It was nice and it was balmy and you could sit outside here in Tennessee, to all of a sudden it's like bug invasion. It's like cicadas and those beetles and the flying things that aren't mosquitoes that look like big old mosquitoes, and the spiders are out, and it's just like, whee, doggies. And then here comes the caterpillars. And I know the mountains are healthy. I saw my first bat tonight flying at twilight. So it's like the mountains have come alive, but there's two sets of these cicadas that are coming about. They come up from the ground, and it makes for a prodigious season for copperheads here in these mountains, because copperheads love to climb trees and eat the cicada insects. And they don't bite you. The cicadas don't bite you, and they have like this interesting mythological legend and lore of every 17 years. It's kind of like people think about the locust, but it's not a plague. The cicadas actually nourish Mother Nature. All the people that have wild chickens are starting to send in reports on all the chicken sites about how the chickens are like, on crack cocaine.
I found eggs under. Listen, check this out.
They fly all over the place, and the chickens are doing the chicken happy dance. So everything to do with our earthly pleasures, our senses. That smells good.
Well, what about if you found eggs under? Like I found eggs under the car in the shack, two, 3 different places. Not the shack, but in the shop. And then there's another set of eggs under the car. This was all this week when I was doing yard work. There's eggs everywhere. Like I know some of them are bad by now, but.
Well, I don't know. They have, there's a lot you can learn about organic eggs. If they haven't been washed, and there's there's a test you can do to see if they float and all that. Because I'm learning a lot about chickens this year with friends that have chickens. I'm actually getting into being a little bit of a chicken mystic. I'm kind of liking it because I had no idea they're as smart as they are, and they can teach you a lot of things about your own nature. So when you're frustrated, they'll pick up on it, and they'll let you know what the pecking order is. So this is about, eggs have to do with a sense of a beginning. We think about bird eggs, and we think about all kinds of fascinating eggs that start to happen in the springtime, in the hemisphere when it's springtime, because it's songbird eggs and snake eggs and chicken eggs, and it's a prolific laying season, and that has and seeds that look like little eggs that you're putting into the ground and getting your hands in the dirt, growing your food, trying to escape. It's great therapy to take a healthy psychological escape from the tremblings in the world and remind us that where you are, even though there might be some pressures of materialism or relationship twists and turns and questions and quagmires, we still have so much that we are complacent about being grateful for. So this new moon in Taurus is about the fertile foundations of our desires. So it's remembering the body, the body temple. Taurus is the body temple, and it has Venus rules this new moon because Venus is at home in one of her home harbor signs of Taurus, and we have it's a supermoon, so we have a stellium or a planetary dance parade going on in Taurus. We've got a supermoon in Taurus, which means it's closer to Earth. So the sun and the moon are both in Taurus. They're marrying in the sign and the energy frequencies of Taurus, the bull, the cow, the bull, the pastures of life, the pleasures in the fields, the bounty of the grasses. Yeah. Just take your shoes off and go barefoot in the flowers and in the lush fields. And if you've ever had the opportunity to raise a calf or be around, like in my childhood, there was a baby steer. I had a baby steer, and I bottle fed it, and it bonded with me. So even though that can be a very powerful creature, if it hasn't imprinted with you, the steer that I imprinted with when I would run home from school in first and second grade and hurry up and feed the steer, I mean, he didn't even have horns then. We were both younger, and so it bonded with me. And anybody, which is so funny, didn't even know I was a Scorpio then, and here I was actually feeding my polarity opposite sign. And when I got home from school, that was part of my chores, to let the pigs out and feed the steer. And the rooster wouldn't peck me like it would everybody else because I was the one that showed up every day. So anybody that got near me, that steer, once it started growing horns, would, including my father, trying to be in a suit with a briefcase and go to work out at the atomic energy plant, the steer would chase him. And so when I got mad at Dad, I would just say, I'm not letting the bull out today. Now, come on, you know it. Only I'm not letting it out today. I'm not doing it. You go do it. And so the steer would chase him down the hill. And, of course, being a Scorpio, didn't know it then, I just delighted in the fact that, well, you angered your little spoiled daughter here, so now you get to run from a bull, literally. And he was a Sagittarius, so he didn't appreciate that too much, but he literally had to run from the bull. So
you can boss them around. It's just very, very hard to, because they're so intimidating a lot of times, you know. Well,
you walk with grace around the bigger animals, whether it's, a draft horse or a llama. I did a lot of llama treks when I lived over in North Carolina, because I just thought I'd never been around llamas, so I just thought that was a cool, fun thing to do in the afternoon, to grab a bunch of friends and go on a picnic by the waterfall, and we all got to walk a llama. Some people got spit on. I didn't. Mine liked me. So it has to do with, it trains you in telepathy when you get around another earth creature than yourself. We're all earth residents. We're all earth citizens. And so those of you that are wanting to sharpen your skills, and, there's a psychic on every corner now, every TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, everybody's a psychic, and everybody's reading tarot cards, and soon we'll have a whole plethora of Reiki healers too. So you can go shopping anywhere you want to, and there's a lid for every pot. But when you get into people that have done seasoned, boots on the ground experience with, like you said, Joe, with live audiences and seminars and media and nature walks, and you've rounded it out, and you've done your numerology and your Reiki and a lot of different things, it starts to let you not be limited just by the astrological rules. You're not limited just by what the numbers mean or the tarot or the oracle cards mean. You broaden it out, and it helps you to understand whatever tool or mechanism you want to use, mystically, psychically, metaphorically, metaphysically, as healers, holistic, may we all be. Taurus grounds you and starts to show you what's really tangible, what's helping you put butter on your bread, what's helping you validate yourself in the sense of, if I'll just get up and work at this, if I'll just stop making excuses, because we've still got Saturn in Pisces, if I'll stop avoiding and bitching at what's not happening and just shut my mouth, Taurus tends to be one of the quieter signs, just shut my mouth and go make it happen. So you've got this cycle of the sun, the moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus. That alone makes this a more favorable lunation, this phase, and it blooms out all over the world between tonight on Eastern Daylight Time at 11:22, and then, of course, it's different for all the different time zones, but if they live, some people are getting it tonight, other people are having it happen tomorrow morning. So the Taurus energy at 18 degrees, 18 is the moon card in the tarot. So we've got the Empress of Taurus Libra, we've got the Pentacle suit in the tarot, we've got the moon card. It's a super moon. Venus is ruling this new moon. So even though Jupiter's in Taurus, and even though Uranus is in Taurus, and even though they did a once every 14-year conjunction back in a couple of weeks ago in April, now it's coming together to solidify what the plan is. So it's, what's the plan? I need to do my part to stick to it, and Taurus is about the labor in the field, the planting of the seeds, the keeping the nose to the grindstone type of a thing. This is, we've got Mercury and Chiron, doing their dance in Aries. We've got Mars in Aries right now. These are the spring signs. So if you looked at that out in nature, it's the new birth, it's the greening, people are mowing their grasses, the yards again, their fields again, the flowers are blooming. People are planting herbs. They're starting to decide what they want to grow for culinary herbs, or potatoes, or beets, or oregano, or is it going to be lavender? What medicinal herbs? I went to a metaphysical shop in Sweetwater, Tennessee, and I said to her, "Oh, how unique are you? You've got an apothecary." And so she's actually getting the dried herbs and putting them in the nice jars like our ancestors and our elders did, like in the 1800s. And so I said, "I grow heirloom roses." I see you've got a jar of roses, and I bet you paid for that from like Star West Herbs or whatever. And she said, "Yeah, I did." And she goes, "I like the roses and the petals and all that." And I said, "I grow them. I started them 5 years ago. I'll bring you a whole jar full of the blooms. They come out in May. I don't want any money for it. I just want to, bless your shop with these rose petals because they're real, they're fragrant, they have rose hips. So I want to then tithe." Taurus is about tithing nature, earthy types of gifts. So your favorite comfort food, your favorite type of movie that just takes you into man, that was good. So it's getting together with those people that don't whine, as you said, and complain and go on and on about what's not right with their world. We got enough of that with the eclipse at the end of March in Libra, and then banged us again with the big solar eclipse in Aries. But, when you've got those fire signs and those air signs, the Aries-Libra nodal points right now, it's like, let's not focus on what's not right with the world. We can see plenty of stuff that seems to be topsy-turvy globally, tornadoes and wars and rumors of wars and political divisions and people not wanting to face up to some of the potential difficult decisions that they felt like they were misled with or actually lied to. We've got breakups of relationships that are going on because Aries fuels. Yeah,
the
Aries
memes
fuels,
have been crazy on Facebook. Jeez.
Yeah. And now we have Taurus that's saying, so could we shift the focus into what's right in your world, what's soft to the touch, what besides just sexuality or just drinking or drugging or partying, what, like you mentioned, music. Taurus is the first sign that has to do with dance and music and the harmony of music and just chilling out, and that you don't have to get high all the time to experience joy in life and to shut the anxiety of the mind down, just to shut it down and say, how about we just get some French fries and sit on the front porch and let's talk about what's good in our plants, what's, how nice it is to be friends for this long. And we got a rule. We're not talking about our troubles tonight. We're not going to do it. You're not going to wear me out with your BS, and I'm not going to wear you out with my whining and complaining.
Amen.
Taurus isn't about that. Taurus is about, what are you, using my time just so you can bitch, piss, and moan? No, thanks. I can bitch, piss, and moan myself. I don't need to have somebody amplify that for me. Not under this new moon. And not all supermoons or new moons are easy peasy. So I'm not in denial about a lot of the pressures that are going on globally, and I'm certainly not trying to tell you that some of the challenges and problems and crisis and chaos points that you've got going on aren't real. But when we start to drive ourselves over the edge with anxiety, and what if this happens, and what if that happens, when we tend to overstimulate psychologically the worry wart syndrome, as Joe and I both greatly appreciate our hillbilly memos, our loving grandmothers, which we call memos. My memo was one that said, worry is prayer in reverse. Neither one of them. Faith and worry. Choose one. Faith is the belief in things not yet seen, not yet experienced, not yet felt. But it's a force. And so there's two forces. There's worry, and then there's faith. And the little saying that she used to do that confused the crap out of me when I was 8 years old, but you had to figure out the puzzles then. I guess she was like the psychic puzzle maker. She would look at me. I'd be stressed out about something, and she wanted to steer my thinking, in a better way, which was smart as a mentor, as an elder. And she said, sit down over there on that porch swing. And I'm like, okay, Mama. And she said, fear knocked at the door one day. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And she said, faith answered. There was nobody there. And then she'd just leave. And I had to somehow figure that out and start to get pictorial images and she made my mind go in another direction besides, I didn't get my way, wah, wah, wah. Or it didn't happen fast enough for me, boo-hoo-hoo. So it starts to train you to be stealth in your ability to,
it's so harsh. You
It's like, sit
It's
down on
so
that
harsh.
porch swing.
Because if you're hurting, man. Like, I get it. But, you know,
Well,
your
it's
mama,
fine.
my dad taught me a lesson when I cut my finger when I was little. I remember I was traumatized from it because there was blood everywhere. And he looked at me and he goes, and I was screaming, like, help, you know. And he's like, he said, you know where the Band-Aids are? And I was like, yes, sir. And he goes, well, you got two choices. You can sit there and go, help, or you can bleed to death. Or you can get the Band-Aid. What do you want to do? You know?
Thanks for the compassion. Could you pet me later? I think I'm going to go get a Band-Aid. But what's funny about it is, my mama was a Pisces, and I know you're going to relate to that because everybody thinks Pisces are all soft and easy, but a Pisces will wear the hair off a goat's ass. I mean, they will bring you up fast to a reality check. You know, when you're going into your little crisis mode, you know, Pisces or Scorpios are kind of like, all right, have your moment, have your feeling. Yep, you cut yourself. Why don't you cry about it later? Let's get it fixed now. Let's get it fixed now. And I think my mama had a lot of real spiritual depth and real strong life wisdoms and saved my butt a bunch of times by how she taught me. But you're right. There's a point when they're in the middle of bringing you up by the short hairs, you know, giving you that psychological wedgie or that spiritual, you know, salute, that they help you, make you sometimes take responsibility in the moment of like, yeah, something crappy just happened. Yeah, you didn't get your way. Yep, I understand, but it ain't going to help you. I'm not going to help you if I allow you to wallow in the shock or the fear. So what that does for you, Joe, is that when you get into an intimate relationship, you're going to melt just like butter. The Taurus part of that is going to be someone that says, oh, I'm sorry that you stubbed your toe. Come on over here and let me hold you for a while.
Yeah,
Joe's going to be going like,
the good
yeah,
side
my
of Taurus.
house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they also taught us that because we had to rise up in a crisis, that also has another twist to it, Joe. It made you good, made you better, so you didn't panic. If someone else got into a cut finger or a toe or was bleeding out or whatever, it'll let you be a person that steps in because you'll take what your dad did and how he did it. You'll add a softer Joe edge to it. You'll be able to do the soft edge and then come in with the resolution.
The craziest thing I ever saw, though, Mary, and I just want to say this, and I'll stop interrupting you. When I was a kid, I went to Lake DeGray, and my dad bought flippers. You know those flippers, right? And he said they're not for show. They're so you can swim faster. So he taught me how to swim faster, right? So we swam all the way out to the buoys. And when we got out to the buoys, we saw this girl, and her whole family is screaming, help, 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 help. They're just screaming, and they're 3 foot away from her. I swear on everything. They're 3 foot away from her, and they're screaming at the top of their lungs. And this little girl, you could just see her mouth just trying to grasp for air. She can't swim. So what she did was she stepped sometimes in the lake. There's drop-offs. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I do.
And so
Yes, I
she
do.
stepped in a drop-off. And her own family, instead of swimming out there or linking up or anything, was just screaming, help, help. And
My
Dad looked at
God.
me and he goes, you got to be shitting me, right?
Really?
And I just took off. I swam all the way from the buoy up to where the little swimming area was and just shoved her in the back. Just a little shove, right? Mm-hmm. And pushed her back into the shallow. And they're all like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And my dad lost his mind on those people. He was like, you couldn't have, just grabbed each other. We all can't swim. What the hell are you doing in the water then? You know?
Yeah, what are you doing here? And why do you have the minor? Why do you have the child? If you can't save the animal or the child, don't take a boat. Go on a train ride.
But they were so distraught. They were screaming like in the worst panic you I'd have ever seen because it's their kid.
Yes.
But even though it was their child,
you got
panic
to
and worry
you're a
took
taller
over.
adult, like you said. Like your dad was like flustered, and you just jumped into it like an Aries. But your dad was like, "Oh my God, there's more of you than them. Get in the water.
Yeah, it was
Hold
crazy.
arms and legs and get paddles and cushions." Or what? And number one, as you and I both know, here comes our logic. And why didn't the kid have on a flotation thing? You had flippers. I mean, your dad knew to give you something to be able to move. But look at the dynamics of that. That's kind of like when a crisis or an oddity happens, and certainly right now with Mars getting ready to cross over the eclipse degree that we had on April the 8th, back when we had that eclipse degree, Mars is going to cross over that in Aries. It's going to cross. It was in Pisces back with the eclipse, but it's in Aries, and it's going to hit that eclipse degree when we get into like right around that full moon period. And thank God it's going to be a positive full moon for the fire sign. It's going to be in Sagittarius. The eclipse degree was at the third decan of Aries, and so Mars is going to be in Aries. The eclipse is in Aries. The North Node is in Aries. So we're beginning to see this shift. Jupiter's going to go into Gemini. So as we come to this full moon in May, things are going to lighten up, and they're going to get busy. We're going to get really busy. It's going to be like whether you like multitasking or not, that's what we're going to kind of get force-fed a whole lot of options. Now, air signs of Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini, they love meet and greets. They love collecting numbers. They love exchanging emails and, exchanging cards or connections and business deals and all that. It's like a huge sales marketing promo thing for the air signs. They love it. They love the exchange of ideas. They don't need things to get all heavy and intense. But when you start getting into the earth signs energy of what we've got now, Taurus is like, what are you going to do to make it happen? Tell me what your desire is. Tell me what your pursuit is. What's the vision quest? But Taurus isn't about all the reasons you believe in it, like a Sagittarius or a philosophical Libra moment or a futuristic society, humanitarian Aquarius. Taurus is about, what do you want? What do you want to see happen here? Well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to save enough money, and I want to move, and I think I want to go over here instead of all that. What are you willing to do to get there?
Or sacrifice. Yeah.
Opens up. When we get to April 30th and May 1st, we go into what's called Beltane in the Gaelic Celtic traditions and a lot of earth medicine. And on the other side of the world, that's All Hallows Eve, Samhain. So what we're at is we're at the 6 months point. Spring is the balance, so right now we've got the Aries Taurus, and that's the polarity opposite signs to the autumn sign of Libra Scorpio. So right now, our inner, here's the holistic part of the star dance, our inner Libra and Scorpio are wanting to set the foundation for what it is that they want to achieve professionally, psychologically. There's some lingering patterns. There's some lingering frustrations from back last October, November, that are wanting to, it's like the Bible calls them a stronghold. And so like there's some strongholds that have been still adding wood to the fire of a frustration of that wasn't fair, that shouldn't have happened, I did my part, they did their part sometimes, why would it have to end like that? Why does it have to keep irritating me? And what's wrong with me that I can't just shut it down and let it go and be in the moment? Because when we're still caught up in the cobweb, when we're still in the web, entangled in the web, and the predator, the spider, the insect, the hunter, are we the hunted, or are we hunting? So if we can get into that neutral zone of the dew on the web, Taurus is about look at your own nature. Where might you be too stuck, too stubborn, and letting something go and really looking? Spirit's trying to show you things in the present. The springtime is the present blooming and blossoming and seeding of the ideas that could lift us out of what was depressing, what was a loss, what was, this has gone on too long, I'm not seeing any progress, damn it, I just want to get the to-do things on my list done. And so Taurus will give us the labor, the work, the opportunity, teamwork, and working with someone. It's physical. I say to people all the time, you don't talk to me about how many times you go to the gym. What are you doing with what kind of physical labor are you doing with your body? You want to work out? I used to swim at night all the time in Florida, because if you're busy weed whacking and mowing lawns and doing this and doing that, you're getting a workout. You're taking care of, you're walking dogs. you're getting a workout. You need to go pay a gym for a membership. Now, people that usually pay for a membership at a gym, it's like it becomes social, it becomes a dating scene, and it becomes like, well, I just don't seem to do it at home unless I go pay money and go to the gym. And that's Taurus, too. If you pay something, you're probably going to pay attention.
I thought it was a golden rule not to hit on folks at the gym. I'm going to have to change my strategy.
Listen, this is so funny. He was an older perverted guy. He just was. When I first moved to Tennessee from North Carolina, I was down by the dock feeding the geese, and he drove by in his little fancy-ass sports car, probably like 25 years older than me, and he goes, "Oh, are you new here?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I was born in Tennessee, but yeah, thanks for asking, because I'm not that easy." And then because I knew, I read it, and he's like, he's like, oh, well, he said, there's lots of yoga classes and dance classes in the area. And I said, well, that's something you like to do? Is that what you're telling me? And he goes, no. He goes, I go so I can go in the back row and watch all the women bend over when they do yoga and do dancing and things like that. I'm always the back row guy. And I said, that's not attractive to talk like that. Did you know that? Let me point you in the right direction. Try not to say that again.
He probably doesn't. Like, if you're just fawning over girls bending over, there's, unless you're a child, you probably don't get laid anyways. You just keep your mouth shut. You know?
He was about numbers. Right. He was about numbers. He was stuck in the conquest phase of prance and romance dance. He was stuck in the conquest. He really didn't want anything serious. He was just a player. I mean, there are players out there. So
Sure.
Taurus is about the deep sensuality, though. It's like the people that you can sit at the end of the dock and just swing your legs and have a beer or have a whatever, eat your strawberries and your blueberries that come into bloom, paint a white fence together like a Tom Sawyer moment and just love hanging out with the person. It doesn't matter if you're doing physical chores. It's just fun hanging out with that person. So Taurus season here is telling us to look in the mirror, be really honest with ourselves. And the first question is, are you fun to be with? Do you feel pressured to always be, I can't show up unless I make people laugh. I've got to be the entertainer. And often the person that's the whimsical entertainer is usually the one that gets bored the quickest because they're on demand. They always, let's invite Joe, let's invite Mary because we're the fun. We're going to be the fun. We're going to set the tone of the group. We're going to do that. So Taurus is productive in that area if you have dance, if you have music, if you have the sunset or the sunrise, or you grab a buddy and say, I got to mow my mom's lawn today, so come on over and let's go do this. We could make it fun. So you do chores, but you make it's not the heavy chore anymore. And Taurus is about where in your life do you have solid footing. Taurus, it sets off the Virgo and the Capricorn. So Taurus is about, I've got to find my place. I need to have my space, and I need to be, don't bother me while I'm eating. Don't bother me while I'm sleeping. I may drive myself crazy, but God, when I want to sleep, don't mess with me and don't bother me. Let me rest. So Taurus, the earth signs don't really have to have discussions about setting boundaries because they just live that way. They just live that way. It's more the water signs. It's the Cancer and the Pisces and the Scorpios that come from oceans of emotions, and they keep wanting to give, and they keep wanting to help people, and they overtalk and they overreach, and then they feel rejected if somebody doesn't give back the same way that they gave. So the water signs right now with Saturn in Pisces and Neptune's at 29 degrees of Pisces. That's like that special degree. When a planet gets at 29 degrees, it's that final fireworks show. It's the grand finale, and it's like the oomph of that sign. And so since 2011, we got some cycles that are reaching back to 2011 and 2012, and we're now coming to the end of the things that were supposed to be soul graduation events. And ironically, at this supermoon in Taurus, there's a lot of graduations going on with those people that are finishing up at that grade. Maybe they're finishing junior high or elementary or high school, and they're going to think about going to trade school or college. So it's like there's these big chapters that have been accomplished and are completing, and they're putting on their prom gowns, and they're doing their selfies, and they're going to the dance, and they're experiencing things about their sensuality and their sexuality. Please use protection. And so what they're doing is they're beginning to dip their toe in a bigger way into the 3D material, financial. With that comes the responsibility, young man. And if you get pregnant, young lady, you need to be ready to take that whole scenario on. So you might be growing up a little fast. The only reason we're trying to warn you to is that a whole lot of stuff can roll out that you might not have planned on doing. You thought you were going to play video games for another 5 years, and you thought you were going to have a summer break and go surf and play and do all of that, and you just got somebody pregnant. So it's very sensual. It's Beltane and April 30th and May Day are all about the rites of spring, and it's warmer weather in the northern hemisphere, and we're thinking about love, and we're thinking about who could massage us, and who would it be fun and just sweet to cuddle up with. You know, dogs will never disappoint me when you want to cuddle up with something. A dog will never disappoint you. So it's about what is it that I feel I could become more active in manifesting in my world. All new moons are powerful seed planting manifesting points. At a new moon, the moon comes in front of the sun, and the sun is our star, and it has this great gravitational pull, and it keeps all the planets in line in the Milky Way. And so the moon, at the new moon, the moon comes in front of the sun and says, okay, take a back seat because it's the new moon, and we'll still see the reflection of the stars, but it's about my sign right now. So the moon is the fastest moving agent in our celestial mechanic toolbox. So the moon in Taurus is saying, I said, study what Taurus is. I said it's time to keep your feet on the ground, stop looking for mysteries, get out of your head, and do something about it. Start something tangible. It's tangible. It's where sayings like to be or not to be, or I don't believe in it unless I can touch it and smell it and hold. I mean, Taurus it's that mechanic. It's the heating and air guy. It's the plumber that fixes it when things go crazy. It's those people that have those skills to keep our world flowing and everything that we go out to pursue or come home from. And
it's
no matter
also
what
the comforts,
your home
too.
is,
You can't have
Taurus is
comforts without taking care of the stuff. Trust me, I know this now. You can't have a freaking clean shower, a nice bed, groceries, insurance, like stuff that you need without taking care of this stuff. You have to take care of it.
That's right. That you have to, and I think it's not just cleaning, it's respecting and the opportunities and the blessings that have been afforded to you. But it is actually, like I was looking at my blackberry plants today, and I'm like, ooh.
Groceries.
This isn't going to be a skinny year. I watch the weather. I'm definitely a weather witch. I mean, I got that from my mama, and I'm looking at these blackberries, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen that many blackberries coming up that way. And they're already starting to go into the little green fruits, and I'm like, my God, those things are poking out of my roses. I mean, it's like, it's got my attention. And that's what I'm saying about nature totems. You don't have to go to some mystical retreat all the time to let nature's signs and wonders talk to you. Like, I know the bushes. I know what grows. And I turned my head to it, and I'm like, okay, blackberries, you got my attention. This is supposed to be a totem fruit. This is supposed to be a blackberry year. This is interesting. And my roses exploded more than they have in a few years, up here, depending on harsh winters and all like that. So it's just interesting. And I watch it. I watch because regardless of just the zodiac signs and who you're involved with and what you're doing in social media, you get your butt out in nature, and nature will show you what's supposed to be important this year, which is I started out with the cicadas. So look around in your area. Like when I went to that metaphysical shop, I was glancing around, and there's so many things, and I just said to my guides, and what would you show me? What would you capture my attention with in here with all the Harry Potter stuff and the apothecary and all that? And it said, look lower left. And I looked, and there was this silver tone necklace, and it was a big whale. It was like a beluga whale. And I said, is that a whale? And the owner, the proprietor of the shop said, yeah. And I said, wow, you don't see a lot of whale stuff in Tennessee. You see that in Florida. You see that in the islands. And she said, oh, I love whales. I've always loved whales. So I knew then, not only was that her medicine totem, but the whale talked to me at that point. So, of course, I came home and refreshed my knowledge on that. So Spirit talked to me about, it's all over the news here in East Tennessee about the cicadas. Oh, that noise, I'm scared of them. They're flying everywhere. So it's like, okay, they got my attention, study them. And I actually laughed. I didn't think there'd be anything on the internet that was supposed to be the mystical meaning of the cicadas and the legends and the lores. I'm used to reading that about the constellations and mythology and such, but there's a whole lot of stuff about them. So what's going on in your area that seems to be getting your attention in the trees, or the way the lawns are looking, what seems to be prodigiously growing, what birds are catching your attention, because these are living oracle cards. They're living messengers. And so besides what I'm going to tell you about your signs, and we go through the signs, each one of the celestial agents that we're going to talk about, the starry spices, Taurus is what matters in your chart right now. Taurus is what matters. Now the balance, with all this stuff going on in Taurus, and there's a sweet spot of Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces, and I'm telling you, Pisces, you've had 2.5 to 3 years of Saturn testing you, because Saturn's been going through the sun sign of Pisces. The opposite to Pisces is Virgo. So Virgos have been like, why is everything delayed? Why am I having to wait so long? Why do people ghost me? Why don't the workers show up? So for the last 3 years, the two signs that have been under some tangible stress have been the Pisces and the Virgos because of Saturn being in Pisces and Neptune being there with it strong in the sign of Pisces. So the good news is that's all going to start to shift, and you're going to start to feel that lift off of you as you come into the Gemini season. It's going to start to get lighter. It's not done yet. There's still a few wrinkles. And that means that Saturn delays things. Saturn is time. Saturn wants you to really take a good look at it before it lets you be free and graduate from the soul class. So we're in a graduation cycle right now, but when you graduate, when you leave one job for another, when you get a divorce and you're freshly single again, there's vulnerabilities. And so Taurus is saying, now that you got done with that, or it got done with you, don't rush in feeling the fallout from that. Don't rush the disposition change and what you learned from it, and don't just look at what wasn't fair. Look at what you can learn about yourself to not overgive or overdo or overexpect, and just keep working on that better, best version of yourself. Then you can't be taken advantage of, and you're not going to overgive, because you're going to realize, to be true to ourselves, we have to do self-care. Taurus is one of those seasons in the great turning of the wheel where we are to self-nurture, where we are to take a hardcore look. And if I've been really lax about my eating habits, and have I been drinking too many Mountain Dews, and am I not drinking enough water, and am I kidding myself about the fact that I really have just gotten really lazy about exercise or eating healthier, and maybe I am being a little bit avoidant of reading about what's going on with lab-grown meat and bioengineered and all this kind of stuff that's going on. You don't go into a depressive funk about it. You start making actual changes. Like, I don't buy the crappy dog foods that are out there. It's now gotten to such an inflationary point that I buy beef liver, and I buy ground turkey, and I buy chicken that I can cook, and I'm actually cooking the same food that I would do for my dog and my cats that I eat myself. I don't have to worry about the crap that they're putting into the food anymore, and I'm not going to pay $35 for a regular bag of dry cat food or dry dog food. So Taurus is showing us, is it worth that? Am I going to let the inflation get away with that? Taurus is about crunching the numbers. And as I always tell you, there's pluses and minuses to every sign. And Taurus can be the most resistant to making the actual change. They'll
especially
piss and bitch
materialistic
and moan,
changes,
or wail and whine, or most of the time Taurus will just stay quiet about it, because in their mind they've already decided it's going to cost me too much. I'm not changing.
Yeah,
I don't want to change. I'm not ready to change, and nobody can push me. It's what Joe said. You don't go out to a bull and just start pushing on its hindquarters and think it's going to do what you want it to do. You're lucky if you don't get gored.
no, it takes a while to because back when we used to rodeo and stuff, it takes a while to get dominance over a bull. You don't just walk into the ring and do it. It don't work that way. But a lot of, there's a lot of this too, and I know it's 10 minutes for the top of the hour already, so I know we got to go into the signs, but a lot of times what I've been seeing is all this, people complaining about narcissism and this and that, and a lot of times people don't value the same thing. So if you value your time and emotions and deep connections, and another person values investments and tangible things, both of you are going to feel taken advantage of if you're not communicating this stuff properly to each other.
Priorities aren't in line.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not that you're not compatible with that person. You're at stages of your life to where, like Taurus gives us that top 3 priority list of what would it take. What's my priority emotionally, mentally, and even physically sometimes? Yeah. What am I willing to do? I find money in the bank a security. I find driving a newer car makes me feel good. I find that paying my mortgage on time or my rent makes me feel secure. I rest better at night. So I don't want to rely on anybody else. I want to do it myself. So that's a person that's going to prioritize 2 jobs, 3 jobs, leaving one job, getting a better job, whatever it takes. It's like, I know that my time is my biggest currency, my most value. So what am I doing with my time? Am I letting a job or a person take too much of my time, waste my time, and then you bring it back to yourself and say, and how much time, back to our worry versus faith, and how much time am I wasting overthinking this, creating more anxiety, creating acid in my stomach, blathering my mouth with the same old story, different people, different day, same crap, haven't made a change. Taurus, even though the sign itself tends to be the sign that you're not going to push into a change it's not ready for. So Taurus and Cancer are the two zodiac signs out of the 12 that you will not push them into a change. If fate or life pushes them into a change, a crisis, a death, an unexpected birth, a job loss, a job promotion, they'll jump on that because they didn't have to do it. It happened to them and around them. And Cancer, with the Cancer crabs, they don't let go of anything. I mean, they're constantly, living in the past or still trying to learn from the past. It's like, hello, I'm the present. Could you see that I'm the gift for you? That's why I'm called the present. Hello, hey, Taurus, Cancer, look right here. Today's May 2024. Today, May 2024. So Taurus is saying to us right now, it's not just a new moon in Taurus. It's not like last year's. It's not like 2020. And it's not like, 12 years ago when Jupiter was in Taurus, 12 years ago, if you want to track the cycle back, the new moon that happened in Taurus 12 years ago was similar to this, but none of them are exactly the same. And I'd bet to say it wasn't a supermoon. Plus, add to the fact, those of you that have been looking on social media, especially Instagram, at spaceweather.com or sky.org, we're not supposed to be at solar maximum till 2025, and yet we're getting these X-flares, and we've got some Earth-facing ones, like 5 of them took off in the last couple of days, and they're supposed to hit tomorrow. So there really is a solar surge, and the cosmic bus is really busy out there over our heads. There's a whole lot of stuff going on that's got to do with space weather and geomagnetic storms and, the whole thing. So there is a lot of activity right now, plus Mother Nature herself in the Northern Hemisphere is like, get out of my way, I'm busy. I got grass to grow and baby squirrels to get out, and I got chickens to lay eggs, and Joe's got the eggs, and then, I've got this going on, and Mary's got the blackberries. I'm busy. I got stuff to do, and I got to get your attention somehow. So right now, go out of your houses. Notice what animals, what birds, what insects, and like I said, I saw my first bat tonight, and of course I'm a nature girl, so I'm like, whee, the mosquito eater. So when you start to study these totems, it's part of nature magic, and you're realizing that you're in the wheel in your location of where you live. There's the great turning of the wheel of the signs, changing elements, and Taurus is Earth. We're supposed to be focused on our security needs and what we prioritize, and the greatest wealth is our health. What are we doing that's better for our health? Sit outside for 10 minutes without your sunglasses on your eyes, and you're going to get all the vitamin D3 hormone readjustment and alignment that you need. You don't have to take the pill, not in spring and summer, but you need to take the sunglasses off your eyes and let that third eye, pineal area receive the sunlight. Do that for 10 to 15 minutes. You're not going to be delinquent in D3. So for Taurus right now, this supermoon in Taurus is saying it's time for you to connect. It's time for you to stop being lazy, stop making excuses, stop just expecting everybody else to make things cushy for you. Venus is in your sign. Jupiter's finishing up in your sign. Those Tauruses that are born in the May side of it instead of the late April side of it are especially favored. The Pisces planets are putting a sweet spot with what we technically call a sextile to the sign of Taurus for all of us, but especially for Taurus and Pisces. So it's a pressure is being lifted, like one of the limits, one of the weights on your shoulder is beginning to come off, and all Great Spirit is asking you to do is to pay attention, be kind, and be willing to shut up complaining and criticizing and whining and participate in bettering yourself and making a difference and being committed to the ride. Because Taurus right now is extremely favored for the next 28 to 30 days until we get to the new moon at the end of the first week of June. And then Taurus will go into more of a financial cycle. And then I will say for Taurus, a lot of it is centered around health and wellness right now because we're going to have that full moon on the 23rd, and it's going to be in the health region. The type of energy for Taurus when Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So if Taurus's 7th house is Scorpio, their health house is Libra. So often the kidneys or feeling like that they're tired, or they let their immunity run down. So with Taurus people right now, it can be the teeth, it can be the spine, it can be the ligaments, it can be they hurt themselves running or overdoing it or lifting too many weights at the gym while they're trying to flirt with the real reason they're there. So it has a lot to do with what are you doing to recognize the gift that you have of this physical temple. Taurus is the physical body. It rules the nose and the throat and the voice, and it has a lot to do with how you maintain the vehicle that your spirit is currently inhabiting. So I would say for Taurus, this birthday cycle starts off on a more prosperous note, but it isn't going to work to keep doing things just the way that you've done them. Taurus is coming out of a 12 to 13-year cycle. So whatever your age is, Taurus, you now got to start being more inventive and more creative, and put your money where your mouth is and put your effort where the work is that'll bring you that money. And if you're in Aries, the moon is favoring you and lighting you up with the Taurus Pisces blend in the second house. So for Aries right now, it's about money, 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 honey, honey, honey. So it's like Aries is supposed to be focused on who wants to sit down with them and discuss an opportunity, who wants to team up with them, and everybody's doing their part, and there's more of a rapid-fire success for that. Right. Taurus, it keeps a bit of the sensual romance on Aries' mind, because in Aries, when they go to work, they're working toward their future, they're working toward their relationship, they're working toward that togetherness. Why? Because the opposite balance sign to Aries is Libra, and Venus also rules Libra. So an Aries is always wanting to work toward how they can have that tangible, viable love in their life and create the storybook. We've been together for so long because we worked it all out. We work together. We don't go at cross purposes with each other. So yeah. Aries right now may find that they value and they see the currency of authentic romance as worth its weight in gold. We're going to use a lot of financial terms with Taurus. So the currency that Aries wants to invest in has to do with, I'm going to make the better version of myself in my working habits, in my thinking habits, in my monetary management, in organizing and cleaning and improving my environment, because my goal is I will dance with romance. I don't want to be a player. I want the one. So Aries people right now are focused on their divine partner.
Well, from a magical aspect too, as far as manifestation goes, the greatest foundation that you can create from is a deep, faithful love that has a long-lasting plan or a long-term plan. Anything else, I'm telling you, if you studied the tarot enough and lived it enough, is a tower that's going to crumble. The love has to be real for it to manifest. Yeah. But
it has to do, you're right, love is an investment. And even if you make the commitment with someone that's really an authentic person, that, look, honesty goes a long way with me, just tell me what it is that's bothering, just tell me, let's talk about it before it goes into something that then you feel like you've got to hide, or you have resentment, or, don't assume. Let's talk about it. And I think it's more of our relationships, especially during this time in Taurus, would be, we're not at a clean slate with each other. We're at cross purposes with each other. Venus and Taurus right now, and these Pisces planets, can help all of us be more open to genuine, honest, authentic discussions, and don't flare. Don't do tit for tat, as they say, when someone starts to say, well, you tend to be too independent, or I worry about you leaving me. You seem like if you just get fed up or I make a mistake, you're just going to walk out the door. Well, it depends on how big the mistake is, and
you could
depends
say
on
you
if you
feel
talked to
like
me about
that,
it first and just didn't up and do something.
Dude,
so,
I've learned from
everybody.
Don't judge. Don't come from I've learned this. You could say how you feel, but you got to be soft about it. Especially to the feminine guys and masculine women, if you come out and you spike at a feminine person and you're like, well, I'm just saying how I feel, a lot of times that feels like a judgment. It feels like a bad fatherly judgment, and then it goes somewhere else, So just say, hey, I feel this way. I really want to talk to you about this thing. And then if they blow up, that shit ain't on you. You did your part.
That's right. That's right. And I found a lot of times when you choose the right moment, like you don't fix somebody a really nice homemade meal and then say to them, listen, I got to talk to you about something.
Yeah. Timing's good too, right?
They're sitting there getting ready to dig into the sour cream mashed potatoes, and you're going to lay something on, and oh, damn, I didn't even make it to the apple pie. So choose your moment wisely. I think a lot of us, we tend to focus too much about what we want to get off our chest and how we're tired of carrying the weight of that. And I think there could be a pleasant moment. It doesn't just have to be in the bed. You might sit out on the porch. You might take a little walk and just say, and own your own stuff. Just say, there's something that's been kind of bothering me, and I'm concerned that it might be giving you a false assumption of how much I care about you or how much I want this to work. So is it an okay time for me to start with where I think I'm going at cross purposes with myself? And I'd just like to be able to discuss that with you because you're the one that matters most that I'm going to discuss this with. And even something like, I started to get annoyed the other day that you were taking too long talking to that person or whatever it is, but then I checked myself and said, okay, what if you had to go talk to the veterinarian longer than you thought or whatever, and they were waiting on the car with you? Would you want to come back to somebody and say, what the hell did you have to talk so long to the vet for? Nobody needs, like Joe's saying, to have that shame, blame, gnashing of the teeth kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of control, too. There is no control in love. Remember the devil card and the lover's card. Love is free. It's a choice, but it's always free. Always.
Right, but on the devil card, they've allowed themselves to stay chained. When you look at their ankles, they're still with each other, staring at each other. On the lover's card, they've got the Archangel Raphael. There's an angel blessing, the coming together of the union of the frequencies of the energies. In the devil card, you've got they're chained. There's the fire, and they're addicted. They're addicted to just the control drama or the power play or the bully versus the victim or codependency type of a thing. So there's all kinds of different ways that people can get enmeshed and trapped in a relationship. And in that very relationship, if there's just been codependency, of course, I'm not going to vote for abuse of any kind, but if there's been a verbal, there's not like a flow of the verbal communication, then it's okay. Instead of wearing all your friends out talking about it all the time, it's okay to watch some YouTubes on therapy on that very subject or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's
for me, I
advice.
just pay the money and go see a therapist because I want to get it cleared, and they went to college for that. I know a whole lot about psychology, but then I'm only looking at it from my perspective. So I'm a firm believer. I've got Earth in my chart. I'm a firm believer that if you can't fix the problem yourself in a constructive way, go pay the money to an expert. If you can't fix your sink and you make it worse, call the plumber. If you don't have it all figured out, you think you do, but you don't, call in the expert. So that's kind of a thing with Aries right now. When the new moon hits, the new moons sets the tone for the next 28 to 30 days. Full moons are like what brings it to a culmination. So the moon hitting the second house for Aries is like, it's like I want to say to Aries, at what cost? At what price do you beat yourself up with this over and over ad nauseum? Get yourself free. It's like let your spirit begin to get creative and soar. There's some wonderful options, orbits, and opportunities that have to do with some really tangible, nice ways of getting some more greenbacks and even barter. It's like sometimes we don't always have to spend the money, especially in a high inflation market. You can barter.
Mary, we're at the top of the hour. We got to take a break here, but people are worried that they missed their signs. She hasn't even started with the signs yet.
I'll start right off with the signs and the houses when we come back.
And so I did a poll in the YouTube chat. I said, will Mary say glory before the first break? 92% of people said yes. Only 88% of you were right. We're taking bets in the chat room, Mary. Oh, no, never mind.
Glory, so both sides win. I love me some glory, clouds of glory, and the winds of grace. Oh, yeah. Amen.
Yeah, there it goes. That's what I was waiting on right there. A little glory. And then I'll ask Mary when we come back, what do you do when your therapist tells you maybe you should just leave that person alone, right? We'll be right back with Mary Dusina. Go to our website, marydusina.com. Get a reading. This is a good time to get a reading now, especially if you want to plan for a good future. Do it. We'll be right back.
It was all that I could do to know my place. Out of all the past illusions, out of all the dreams come true, I was gone until I finally saw your face. If you cried out for more, if you reached out for me, I would run into the storm just to keep you here with me. I have gone beyond my years, I wasted half my life, but I found it all in you. Did I save you?
This is Rev Dan Lopez from Spiritual Warrior Today Radio, and you're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
Hi, this is Kronox from Belgium, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
Hey, I'm J.M. DeBoard, and when I want to talk about dreams, I look up my man Joe Roop and his show, Lighting the Void.
In your face, all over the place.
We're online 24/7. 24/7.
You're listening to the hottest internet station.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
I'm Clyde Lewis. You are listening to The Fringe FM.
This is Elle. I listen to Lighting the Void because it's interactive radio with good content, interesting guests, and a humble host, sharing this journey through the esoteric. Hey, Joe Roop. Thanks for having us along for the ride.
Thank you so much for a delightful evening.
Well, I got a lot of ground to cover.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Bumper stickers are a fun side hustle with low-cost investment that has built-in advertising to attract local customers in parking lots, rallies, gatherings, conventions, venues, and more. You could potentially sell these bumper stickers on consignment to local businesses, tattoo parlors, head shops, or any other independently owned store that might gear toward the fringe. Bumper stickers are great gift-giving ideas for friends and family. Also, a way to wake up your fellow travelers on the path without having to waste energy in tiresome debates. No car? No problem. Bumper stickers will stick to just about anything with a semi-smooth surface. Go to www.justbsme.com and get your bumper stickers today.
This is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to The Fringe FM.
Hey, this is country music singer and void walker Jason Benoit, and when I need my fix on the world of magic and the capabilities of the human consciousness, I listen to Joe Roop right here on Lighting the Void Radio.
Mean Mr. Mustard says he's bored. Life in the district. He can't afford the French Quarter High. Says it gets old real quick. He pales up next to me and scrawled on the pavement. It says, son, time is all the luck you need. If I stay lucky, then my tongue will stay tied, and I won't betray the things that I hide. There's not enough years underneath this belt for me to admit the way that I felt.
All right. All right, welcome back to Lighting the Void, live here on the Fringe FM. We're here with Mary Dusina, and we're going to go through the signs. I know we were talking about Aries and Taurus as soon as the show had to cut to the radio station break, so we'll finish that off. So if you are one of the people in the chat and you're worried about, oh, I didn't get to hear my sign or any of that stuff, no. We're starting from scratch here. Mary's got you. The reason why you love her so much is because you know she's got your back. As much as she's, everybody in the world's Mary. I am so, like, I can't handle it, to be honest with you. Like, I try to keep a close circle. I can't handle that. I'm very impressed, and I've never told you this, Mary, but I'm very impressed at how you handle that. You handle it with such grace. You know what I mean? And such authenticity and genuine care that it's always been a big lesson for me,
Thank you, Joe. I love what I do. I love helping people unlock where they think they've gotten themselves just all bound up in sticky tape. The pleasure of what I do, I certainly don't make a lot of money with it because I keep my prices fair and under most other people, but that's because I want people to invest in themselves and I want them to get unstuck. But any true holistic healer, whether they do astrology or tarot or seminars or meditations or soft hypnosis like I do, the true soul coaches and guides are there to help it be easier for you to start the path of leveling up, but you got to do the work. Any of these people out there that tell you they can do it for you, not so much. I'm not going to play that game because that can be a manipulative con game. You're going to have to do the work, but there's wonderful people that Spirit will put in your life on a podcast, on YouTube, in a reading as a therapist. They're there. They're there. You start with, in your prayers, you start with, I give thanks for the answers manifesting in my life in great spirits on perfect ways. Almighty I am, take the problem from me. Thank you for the answers rolling in and the prosperity in peace and in harmony. It starts with you, and it starts with your beliefs, and it starts with your spelling, the words that you're using, cast energy. And so we'll run through the signs now so we can get to the readings. So we'll start again with Aries. Aries is the first sign, so we'll do that. Mars is in Aries, and we've got the North Node in Aries that I already mentioned, and we've got Mars hitting the eclipse point right around that Sagittarius full moon. It's a very active part of May, the 23rd to the 25th. Jupiter will go into Gemini. This starts to lighten the load for Aries. It starts to give, I can see down the road that this is going to be a very good path for me to set my course on. So there's a course change. Aries is definitely got to go through guillotining the past and lingering in the past and focusing right now, even if the past would reinvent itself and be in the future. I mean, I'm not saying that couldn't happen, Aries. I'm just saying that this is a time for you to, I'm going to use a Taurus pun, take the bull by the horns and start manifesting and being a part of the life that you know, whether the partner's there or not right now, that you know makes you feel secure, makes you feel more attractive. And if Aries says, well, I obviously feel more attractive when I got $200 in my pocket and my rent's paid and this and that and I borrowed a car or whatever it is. I get it. But you have to not let those things, we can't let the material world be our governor in that sense. You're attractive because you're attractive. Your voice and your eyes and your unique style of communication and savoir-faire, Aries. I mean, you've got the fire. You bring the fire. So for Aries right now, it's like stop doubting yourself. Mars is in your sign. It's not been there for 2 years. So it's stimulating key partnerships for Libra, but it's motivating the Aries factor in our charts, as well as if your top three is in Aries, Sun, Moon, or rising sign. So the Aries point is just saying, shut up and fix it. Go. Just start the process. Aries is about initiation and starting. And so when the sun gets into Taurus, it's about wanting to create initiations and new starts for security and monetary progress.
Amen to that.
So you're supposed to be focused on how you can level up and improve your financial freedom right now. It's just about, let's say you're starting at beginning point, ground zero with work or finances, and you just lost everything. My philosophy to an Aries right then would be like, okay, only go do the work that you love. Now that you have nothing, now that you lost everything, now you lost $1 million, now you won the lottery, same answer. Go do what you love, because you're going to be putting in the effort, and it's going to be a stimulant because you love doing what you do. So if you're Taurus, it's birthday season, and there's a kind of a hard-headed, pun intended again, there's a hard-headed solar tie to the fact that Saturn precedes this new moon in your sign. So it's bringing you chances of social opportunities. The grace and the glory is coming around the people that you are cohabiting with, that you're meeting up for lunch, not just for your birthday get-togethers, but the people that have really shown up and been there for you, and some of them just were quiet while you talked about something that was concerning you. So the events, the words, the conversations over these next 12 to 14 days ahead, Taurus, will catapult you into a very specific venue or a plan of action. There's going to be strong dreams. There's going to be useful insights. It's going to leave you with a better encompassing idea of what the next steps on your path should be. So there's been some health things around a lot of Taurus of all kinds of ages that I've been talking to over the last month. So there's opportunities now coming, but I have to say for Taurus, whether it's psychological, mental, emotional, or physical, it's a cycle that you needed to allow yourself to calm, pause, heal.
Yeah, and who was there for you when you didn't have something to offer them? Because the things I've noticed about Taurus, people with heavy Taurus in their chart, is they have a lot of people that are there that are willing to take from them and say and kiss their butt and say, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but just validate them and validate them. But when you got nothing, when you're just you, who you are, and you're not going, even though we know you love to give material things, but who was there for you when you weren't doing that? They were still right there. Those are the people you really got to like give a kiss to, I think. Kiss and a big hug.
Well, they're very integral points in your life chapters, and I feel for Taurus, they're starting a new chapter. Aries is closing out a chapter because Aries we had such an intense April with the eclipse and everything, and people, just because the eclipse happened in Aries around April 8th, so many people in beginning astrology think, oh, the eclipse has already happened. We went to see it. It was really nice. And you realize astrologically it's in effect for a minimum of 6 to 8 months. So find that place in your chart, continue to study the Aries area of your chart, and know that in 2024, when the sun gets into the other cardinal signs, like the summer solstice and the autumnal equinox, and then when we get down, to the next eclipses that happen in September, October, that's going to trigger back to the one that we had in late March and April, and then it's going to go into next spring. So our new book opened up. Our new 18-month book opened up with that Aries eclipse on April the 8th, the full moon in Libra. That's going to reverse out, and we're going to have the full moon and the sun switch when we get to September, October. We're going to have a solar eclipse in Libra, for example. So the Venus factor is very strong this year for all the signs, but none more so than Taurus and Libra. Venus will become the evening star again in July, and she'll run that for about 9 months. So she's been invisible. She's been underneath, in a sense. We've not seen her in our side of the world. So you think about the totem of the sign that we're talking about, and it's the bull. It's steady. It's strong. It moves slow. It takes its time, and sometimes it's always hungry because it has to graze. So we have to look at what's feeding us and what are we hungry for. So for Taurus, you're going to be embracing new opportunities, even if, in a sense, you've got to initially get up off your ass and engage and go looking for some. If you're Gemini, boy, you've got good news coming up. You've got good news with, the full moon in Sagittarius is going to be a vision quest, a chapter opening up for you in that third week of May. Jupiter is going to go into your sign for a whole year, starting on May the 25th. So Gemini, but right now, the sign before your sun sign is when it's called the 12th house, and it's when our issues come up. So for Gemini right now, they're not real sure what to do about a certain situation because they feel like that they've figured it out psychologically and they figured it out mentally, but there seems to be there's not a meeting of the minds with the key people that are involved, whether that's an intimate relationship or the boss at work or the plan to get the work done or the people not doing their part of it. Gemini's kind of suffering in silence right now a little bit of like, I got this problem. We talk about it and we get hot about it and we don't seem to go anywhere because we're both too stubborn. So the stubborn side of Taurus is meeting up with Gemini because Gemini is used to, Taurus is the sign before Gemini, and Geminis are used to being able to talk their way into or out of stressful situations. So Gemini is famous for its curiosity. It's making people laugh, turning the corners of their mouth up. But when it comes to their own personal private collaborations right now, there may be a person in question that's too stubborn for your taste, or they're too laid back and non-committal, or they're in denial of a pressure point or an issue that's causing family stress or monetary stress. And the Gemini feels like they somehow got to find the sweet spot of, am I the one that sets the chain of action in motion and starts to push more for things to change or things to happen, or is the one I'm involved with looking at a long view? And I feel like I'm at a point in my life or an age in my life to get this stuff moving. So with Gemini right now, it frustrates the Gemini to be there again. Here I am, same bullshit, different day. Why can't we get past this? So Gemini normally has the gift of gab, and what Joe and I were talking about of really effective, sparkling, authentic, core-level, honest communication. So a Gemini gets really confused when they feel like, okay, I just said exactly what I'm thinking and explained how it's making me feel and my part in it, and what can I do to change? I even asked the question, what can I do to make this better or change? And I'm still meeting with resistance. So I would say to Gemini, hold on. Once you get past the 11th and 12th of May, it starts to get easier, and maybe if someone else thinks it's their idea, you might get to the resolution quicker. Like maybe they don't want you to be the one that got to be in charge of the change, or they felt like that you pushed them, or pun intended, bullied them into something they weren't ready to do. If you just kind of choose your moment and astrologically wait until like the 12th, 13th has happened, so we get some of those pressure points off of there, then there won't have to be the explosive reactions. So if you're Cancer like Taurus, there's signs that tend to go over memories, keep little mementos, cherished moments. They'll save the birthday cards and the romantic cards so they can look at them again and again, even if the person passes away. There's just something about the nostalgia and the importance of the cards they got, the gifts they got, their favorite blanket from their grandma, the quilt, and all that kind of stuff. That's a Taurus, Cancer kind of thing, the heirlooms that have an emotional charge. But what's happening with Mars and Aries right now, the social zone and kind of what's going on with Cancerians, the crabs, it's in your 11th house. And so you know that you tend to overgive because Cancer is the mother. The moon rules the sign of Cancer. So even if it's a male Cancer, there is an automatic yin, feminine, empathic, compassionate, caregiver side to them. They know how to nurture. They know how to rub your back. They know how to take the tension out of your shoulders, cook you some nice soup, bring you a happy little ass dessert. I mean, they know how to create the soft moments for you. So wherever the Cancerian sign is in each of our individual birth charts, that's where we need to be mothered, and we know what nurturing we like the best, and we know how to do that sensual take on that. No matter what house it is, where you've got Cancer the sign out of your personal 12 houses, that's where you can either overgive. Each sign has a plus and a minus, and the minus of the sign of Cancer is they tend to, even if someone's been abusive to them or someone's taken them for granted, and all their friends are going, why would you go back to that job? Who cares?
Or
if that
person
ex is getting hold of you again. Why would you talk to them again? I mean, they mistreated you. In the meantime, that boss of that ex is going, I really need to see you, please, 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 please. And your friends are going, we're the ones that heard your pain for years and months, really. I mean, yeah, they miss you because you did it all for them and you were there for them and they didn't return the favor. Not that there always needs to be a string attached, but come on, buddy. So it's like Cancer feels like they want to prove that if I ever loved you, or if you were ever a friend, or if you were my child or my parent, I may not accept everything that you do, but I can read you emotionally and I see your pain. And so Cancers have to worry about getting entangled a bit too much in that. They have to look at this statement, Cancer, especially now that Taurus is favoring you. Actions do speak louder than just words. So there's some nice new sizzling developments for Cancer risings, Cancer moons, Cancer sun signs. You're going to be moving in fresh circles. You're going to develop a bold interest. And with the new moon, it's going to be a good time to even launch a team effort type of a thing, or involve some people and not overgive and not expect them to carry the weight of what you need to do. But it could be another little nurturing, networking kind of circle. So you're in your first tangible steps of 2024 of manifesting the dream that's deeply important to you. And when you get your graduation, it's going to be late October, November. So it's not that far off, folks. Autumn will be here before we know it. So let's enjoy spring. If you're a Leo right now, Leo needs to understand that there could be someone that could step up to do a kindness for them or to help them. Leo, the activity, and we've got another fixed sign in a stellium, in a planetary dance. Leo's very much affected by this Taurus energy. It's innovative with Uranus and Taurus and Jupiter coming together. Those are big players in the solar system. So it's got Leo thinking, and with the sun in, remember, Leo's ruled by the sun, so the moon's in front right now. So she's bringing the potential of really incredible intuitive, spiritual, emotional epiphanies, really nice aha moments about, whoa, I always wondered why I was here. I wondered what the big purpose of my life was. Your uniqueness, your abilities, if that requires that you move, if that requires that you've done 35 years on the job or in the relationship, and something's going to shift about that by the time we get, into the beginning of July. There's something about the message from the cosmos for Leos right now is encouragement, focus on the unique talents and abilities that you have, what helps you stand out, but at the same time to understand I'm the director, I'm the writer, and I'm the actor in my theater of my life. But I feel like Leos have been really encumbered over the last year, but they've really had to keep their nose to the grindstone of some additional responsibilities, or they've had to go through a heavy life storm, and now they can see the shoreline. Now they're coming out of it. And the full moon coming up on May 22nd, 23rd, Jupiter going into Gemini, all that favors Leo. But there are some key challenges and changes coming up in your intimate relationships. Pluto is at 2 degrees of Aquarius, moves very slow. It's going to stay at that point, even though it's stationary right now, turning retrograde. The Leos that are born in the July sector, those dates of July, the Leos there are going to go through some really big changes. And I feel with Leo, with it being the 10th house, it could be that they say, I've really put my energy and my efforts into this work, this place, this home, and now I'm ready to just change my life. I mean, there's going to be something to where you simply say, it's a major time of deciding, releasing, and appreciating what truly matters. If you're Virgo right now, the Saturn and the Neptune thing has been really weird, like I said earlier. There's been pressure, let's face it, for Pisces and Virgos. I mean, both of them have wanted to get into escapism and retreat and just go back to bed. A lot of times it's like, are you kidding me? So with Virgo, it's more of an energy. Taurus favors Virgo. It favors Capricorn. And Virgo, it looks like things are going to get caught up, and you're going to be able to catch up, because it's a type of energy that's saying to you, what's your vision, what's your beliefs, stop overthinking it, don't get OCD, don't reach for the Adderall, don't reach for the Xanax, don't reach for the joint, really just check yourself and do just a little bit of psychological and mental discipline on your tendency to be so afraid that you'll miss a detail, or that if you don't overthink it, you get kind of stuck in that focus of like, I've got to overplan everything, I've got to overthink everything, and you kind of miss the mood of the moment. And so Taurus is saying there's some really nice, like, let your disposition change enough to be able to really breathe and relax, that you overcame a former obstacle, like you really had a breakthrough and you really moved that to a better place and got the accomplishment. Virgo tends to rush past the accomplishment or the fact that you won the point or you got over an obstacle and they're on to the next thing. So Virgo, I mean, let's bask in the moment here. And so with the full moon in Sagittarius, for Virgo that comes up, I would say don't get too caught up in assumptions or words. And if you're a Libra, got Mars in Aries, so Libra's thinking about, and what is it about the partnership, give and take? What is it about the win-win? What is it about the balance? I feel like Libra has a lot of sparkling, prosperous opportunities bouncing all around them. They're charming, they're attractive, they need to stop thinking in self-limited ways. If you've got your moon rising in Libra, and realize that Libras don't give their word easily because they plan to back it up, unless they're a player or narcissistic or a sociopath or just don't care. They're just not evolved yet. All the signs come in all sizes and packages. But the committed Libra, because they're ruled by Venus, they get the value of love. They understand that love is what lets us win in this life. However we can let love dance as close as it can with us in life, that's the power. Amen. Of reincarnating in the first place, or the most powerful memories you'll ever take with you is who you loved, how you loved, and how they were brought out of their darkness, and how they were able to soar because of your consistency of love. And Libra's all about the love. Glory. So you're letting go of rigid patterns. You're done being held back from living life to the full according to someone else's terms. But I feel like there's a stirring and an occurring that's here today with this Taurus moon blooming out over the next 28 to to 30 days, and I feel like it's all about the fresh start. So, and the full moon's favorable for you too, and Jupiter going into Gemini in the third week of May. Scorpio, the new moon is in your sector of relating, relationships. It could coincide with a very fated, meant-to-be encounter, kismet, fate as I call it, the Arabic word kismet. I feel like someone that has a completely different approach to life, outlook in life, that you find inspiring. The part of you that they're going to like, Scorpio, is that you know how to be very, very practical in the face of chaos or a crisis. There's nobody like a Scorpio that's had to go to the edge of the cliff on really life and death scenarios. And so the Scorpios you know in your life, if they're not strung out on drugs or gone into some kind of mode of it's all about me, I don't give a shit anymore, if you've got those enlightened Scorpios, they really can, with their ruler being Pluto, they really can help you see it and advance you in alchemical and transformative ways. That Scorpio friend, that Scorpio therapist or nurse or doctor will check you. They'll check you, and they'll remind you of what your words are and what you said your goals were, but they're going to ultimately want to help you get out of any kind of rut that you're in. It's not going to be the Scorpio that just pats you on the head all the time. It's going to be, what are you going to do about it? How can I help you? Let's bust a move. So Scorpio is they're planting seeds. Taurus is seed planting time. So they've done a weed and feed in their priority garden of what they want sensually and emotionally. And so they're planting the seeds of a relationship that's going to blossom big as we come into the autumn. I do feel that the loyalty factor and having a very mature type of dynamic of communication and loving and being able to take spaces from each other and all that, that's going to be what makes it work better with a Scorpio. But Taurus is your opposite sign, so you're going to come up against some people that try to tell you how you see it isn't the way it is. And what the Scorpio is going to turn around and do is say, you have a right to see it any way that you want to, but don't tell me about how I feel and how I do it, because I'm in charge of that. Only I can feel what I'm feeling and deal with what I'm feeling. Other people can observe it, but I can't tell you about your feelings. I can observe it, but each person individually has to be in charge of managing their own ship. Sagittarius, very powerful second half of the month. Taurus right now for Sagittarius is saying, what are you doing with your wellness, your holistic approaches to your more natural methods of, are you blowing it and just saying, I'm going to eat Taco Bell for the next 5 days because I just don't give a damn. I got a really busy job and I'm going to be doing the fast food thing. That's fine. I'm just saying check how you feel after that. Check how you feel after Chick-fil-A only or McDonald's only or, just sodas and things like that. I mean, if I were you, Sagittarius, by the time I got to the 19th and 20th of May, my wheels would turn real quick about taking a look at how my physical energy is and how that's affecting my mental momentum or causing me to absolutely be evaporated, hydrated, and exhausted, because this is about new job options. This is about I need something to stimulate me with my talents, my work. So a lot of Sagittarius may be changing jobs and opening up a new chapter that brings in more money and having fun at work. Gee, there's a novel thing. So for Capricorn, the moon favors you. It's Taurus. The Pisces stuff favors you. You're going to be inspired to explore interests you've never tried. And I feel like you're also going to be open and inclined to look at ways to express yourself that are more liberating. I see Capricorn getting out from under the leash, getting out from under obligations with kids or parents or wills or inheritances or just business. I feel like that Capricorns are wanting to explore, and they somehow know, why not? Why not? This is that point in my life that I never know where it might lead, and now's the time in my life to do it. So it's bold for Capricorn. And Saturn's your ruler, and Saturn's favoring you right now. So, yeah, go out and engage with different types of personalities and peoples and spiritual beliefs even. Aquarius, if you've thought about moving, whether it's someone bigger, smaller, a new town, a new place, a new apartment complex, and, from the city to the country, this is going to crop up again. Taurus is about asking you what's going on in the home base. A lot of Aquarians have some kind of concern or issue going on with the grandmother, the mother, a female sibling. There's something going on with sudden maternal matters. The one in the family that wants to play the mother role, maybe the Aquarius has been playing the mother role and they want to get disengaged from that, from a sister or brother, etc. There could be some oddities, some sudden eruptions that have to do around the mother figure. So this Mother's Day can be intense. It can be one that needs to be just enjoy it and put the fires out on the problems. I feel that Aquarians are looking at who's too needy, who's too possessive, who's too greedy. So there's something around Aquarians that they're wanting to spend some more time around family and home and get that corrected, and the domestic situations or improvements corrected, rather than just letting the job take everything out of them. And if you're Pisces, the good news, Taurus favors you. There's an opportunity for you to have technological skills, new openings result from doing that. I feel like it's in your sector of how you think, how you communicate. So if you're a writer, if you're an artist, if you're writing lyrics, if you're promoting your music, if you're doing if you're thinking about doing a podcast, this is the time to do it. The tide is turning. The last 2.5 to 3 years have been kick-ass for Pisces in the sense of them having to get over to obstacles. They've been tired. There's been escapism. There's been potential addiction, and there's been some tangible health problems. But I feel like that rather than being an atomic robot, they're now going to say, you know what, it's time for me to be able to carpe diem, seize the day, be in the moment. So Pisces, you're ready to put more of that energy that takes you on a path of feeling, slowing down, enjoying, and the full moon in Sagittarius will probably create the very situation to where you are able to set boundaries, also the ones including with yourself. So it's a new moon. I think this is the best new moon for all the signs. Some are getting a little more of the prosperity than others right now. It shifts every month for that. But I feel like we all will be doing better if we look at where we can declutter, organize, clean, straighten, improve. At the very least, clean it. At the very least, clean it and get it back, fix it, get it back to optimal levels, repurpose it, give it away, bless somebody else, get rid of the stuff that, don't be a hoarder, start stacking it, organizing it, give everything around you a fresher look, because the books, the artwork, the blankets, the couches, the carpets, clean it up and appreciate, even if it's older, that which is already manifested around you to be in your home, how you keep your car. All of that is about, do you appreciate it or are you abusing it? Because the law of attraction is, you will attract to you. Venus is the great attractor. Taurus is tangible material goods. You're going to attract to you how you're treating what you already have.
Yeah, man, a lot of what you said resonated too. I mean, like I can tell you that we've been cleaning up around here, putting roofs on, cutting down trees, cleaning up the yard, doing all kinds of stuff. And it just feels good to be out in nature. But at the same time, it also feels good to be away from an overly materialistic environment. It's like, it's so hard to explain, man.
That's the minus of the earth signs, and especially the Taurus, because Taurus, if they get on the minus side, they only can relax when they feel like they've got money. They can go check their bank account balance 4 or 5 times a day. They look over the receipts before they go to sleep at night. They have to make all the phone calls to make sure they got the perks and the discounts and the refund from the power company and all that. I mean, they really, and they like it when people notice the purse and the shoes that they're wearing or the suit and how much they can get caught up in that. They can get caught up in that. And what's sad about that is that the minus of Taurus is they're only seeing their worth if they're wearing it and they can measure it in dollars and cents.
Yeah, and wait till you're caught up in a situation where that's all they see. Not just you, but others. Like everybody's an investment. Everybody's a freaking...
You become everybody else's bank and
transaction or of some kind,
It sets you up to be bullied, and you will like attracts like. If you're worried about money all the time and you're worried about prestige and social image exclusively, you're going to attract energy vampires. You're going to attract, I'll say it again, people that are energy thieves and expect you to give to them on demand, and that's an energy vampire. So that's not my idea of how to get sucked into pleasure away. It's just not for energy vampires to start coming around you and expecting you to bail them out, pay them out, validate them. You're not worth anything unless you give to them and you hang around and you follow all their rules. Really? You're leashed and you got a bit in your mouth too, and your nose is pierced. And there's such a thing as working oxen. You know, and the
how many
bulls that never
resources
get to
do
get
you
out of
have?
the pen, and
What's your
they're
net
only
worth?
used for stud, and it's the day of slaughter, or and only India, unless somebody knows otherwise, only in India is the cow and the bull revered. So think about your tarot cards. Think Taurus is the colors of greens and browns and earth tones, and getting out in nature, being the wild woman, and enjoying, embracing your masculinity, and just, knowing that the assertive side of you, regardless of your biology, is that Taurus is a good time to get serious and assertive about taking care of what you own on the way to the blessings of you owning more coming in, because even if it was old or used, be it animal, relationship, or thing, you took extra attention to it when it was starting to get a little more broke down or older. It takes a little longer for the dog to walk, a little, more extra care for the cat or the parent or the relationship. Anybody can get all titillated in the beginning, but once you've been involved with somebody for 4 or 5 years and it starts counting, the fact that you can overcome the trials and tribulations and the challenges, and that fateful day that you find out they've been lying to you or playing you or cheating on you and whatever, get a plan and get out.
Yeah, wait till you've been in a relationship for years, and you get a phone call in the middle of the night or a text, and it goes, "Well, I guess we're not going to make a bunch of big money. We're not going to make a big pile of money together, are we?" And it's like, what? What the hell are you talking about?
No, that tells me all I need. Oh, I didn't know you wanted a business partner, so I tell you what, I'll not be talking to you, and I'll go out there and I'll make the money that I want to make, and then once I'm at that point, I might decide that, that's, I don't really think I just want a person that just only had that in the back of their mind the whole time, because, that's not what I was looking for. So, toodaloo.
That's being chained to that double-cubed altar. Remember that. That double-cubed altar represents the material things of the blackest nature. You're a material being. You have to be here on the earth, so you should do like the squirrels do and plan and do all this other stuff and have fun. And, there's a good side to all this, too, but when it burns you up and it takes over you, or you become chained to it or codependent on it, or it becomes who you are or what you're worth, And
how you judge.
You're in trouble, man. You're in trouble.
Yeah, well, the other side of the devil card, the other name of the devil card in a lot of oracle decks, it's not called the devil, it's called materialism.
Yeah.
So they're so focused on just what's right in front of them, they can't even see the good anymore because they're too caught up in what they don't have, and they're not able to see what is right here in front of them and who is right in front of them. They're still looking past that person that's loyal, looking past that job that's been there for them or the loyal friends, and all they want to do is just make more money and keep externalizing their pleasure. Like, let's go party, let's do more drugs, let's do more alcohol, let's go out. We got to travel, we got to do this, we got to do that, and they're avoiding really dealing with what the inner part of them would
the inside,
be most blessed by.
Yeah. There's something going on inside of them, like, for sure. Yeah. Usually, and I remember when you was talking about cancer, I was remembering all those nights that I was like, okay, look, I'm a big burly dude, but I'm a Cancer moon. I'll eat ice cream and take a bubble bath. I'm not playing, Good. I've done it too many times.
You'll taste good.
Too many times, man. Like, in those materialistic situations. And I'll be a little bit vulnerable with you guys. I got in an argument with a relative who said, well, you're in a shack and you're doing a podcast and this and that. And he actually said, what are you worth? And I looked him in the eye and I said, I'm worth more than all the money in the world. All of it. And I said, so are you. I said, hell, that cat's worth more than all the money in the world. And until you understand that, you and I got nothing to talk about.
Good for you. That's called speaking your truth. And it's like you're not judging the relative. You're just simply saying, I'm following what my spiritual investment is. And
exactly.
I'm not lazy. I'm doing the podcast. I'm running the equipment. I've spent the money. I paid, I get donations. I get loyal. I've got loyal audience. I've got great speakers. I'm actually in touch with people that bless me because I can give a win-win platform to them that would cost me hundreds of dollars. to have them read for me or do this or that or whatever, you know. I mean, I get the books, I get this or that, and so, you know, I'm actually bartering and creating a win-win platform for a lot of really unique talent that I can bring forward to, and everybody wins and everybody benefits. It's like you say, a family and a tribe and a community of
love.
glory.
Love wins above all. That coming together is the most powerful thing in the world. You can build anything if you can commit to it. You know, that includes, Mary's taught me this over the years, is that includes marrying these parts of yourself that you need to come together and love, you know. You have to love yourself, and you shouldn't let anybody hurt you.
That's right.
You know.
That's right. And we all have had fractures. Some people have bone fractures. Other people have emotional fractures. Some people have had abusive earthquakes. Other people have had tsunamis emotionally, that things that they can't even, they've got so much post-traumatic trauma on it, they can't even talk about it, and maybe they don't need to their friends or their lovers, but invest in a therapist. Go at least listen to the YouTube psychologists that are on there, the past life regressionists. You know, just don't look at what your reading is for the month. Go do some actual work. We're living in a time right now where social media, I mean, the people that I paid hundreds of dollars to don't regret any of it as therapists, past life training, hypnotists, and all that. You can actually do that on YouTube, and you're just damn lazy if you're not doing it. Because I'm sitting here telling you I don't regret any of the $500 or $1,000 that I spent all along the decades to both bless and invest those people as well as myself to take those courses, to learn that craft, to invest in the Reiki, to invest in the people that were astrologers and healers and all of that all along the way. I love all the money that I spent and blessed the people that I did, and I'm better for it. These are things, my herbal trainings, all that I invested in, the years, the times, and the money. I'm so better, well-rounded to handle my own points of crisis or chaos that could come up. I'm much more confident about it now because I invested in the work and I did it. And some of that's going to be we trip and fall and have to get up again, but that's part of the process too. But in your meditations and in your prayers, go ahead and set the intention that whatever new moon feels right for you, this is a good one, that's a hint, to say, I don't need to learn, I don't need spirit to get my attention
through suffering,
loss and anger and pain anymore. It's me and my God-given will. So God, Almighty I Am, Buddha, you know, all that is, love, Mother Nature, I will now do the work to listen without having to have pain or loss or tragedy be my life teacher. I will surrender. I want laughter and harmony and peace and congeniality and really effective ways of working with people, and they bless me and I bless them, and I'm just going to start it all with I release it, I release my concerns, and I will discipline myself to be grateful every day and to pray for this planet and pray for this world. I don't have to talk about it to people. I just need to, Taurus, put the work in. And so I do.
Phone lines are open, 501-777-5631. Big shout out to Barney and also Abby for the $20 super stickers and YouTube. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You can also donate at the Fringe FM too. I think I fixed that. And you can also, but if you have the money to invest in a reading, get a full reading, man, and like do what Mary tells you to do. A lot of the stuff she says is gonna make you feel good, but I promise you, there's nothing that she wants more than for you to do what she's telling you to do. Like,
yeah, I want the higher version of your soul to kiss you and bless you and grant you the confidence that you arrived here with it. Life may have gotten in the way, but we came with all the gifts of anything spiritual, of anything sacred. We are spirit. We arrived here as spirit. We slipped on a temple body. For some people, they get caught up, and it's not a temple body. It's just it's a prison house of bones and skins.
Oh, God, dude, get away from me.
All that. And I'm like, listen, you got choices. You got choices. You know, shift your perspective, because the law of attraction, if you're downing your health and your body all the time, I know people that have health situations, serious health situations, and the glow on their face, because it turned them They were good people to begin with, but it turned them into, they say things like, I'm grateful I woke up today. I woke up today and it's a beautiful day and I'm seeing things like I've never seen them before. So sometimes that hard luck or that illness or that crisis or that chaos puts you back. Get back, JoJo. Get back to where you once belonged. So it's got to do with what really, Taurus, key bottom line message is, do you know what really matters in this life? And do you see the worth of leaning into the things that are authentic and harmonious and the kindness that's in everybody? You know, those people that do really horrific things, somebody beat the kindness out of them a long time ago. There were some horrific things. But when you get into metaphysical things, when you understand your astrological weather, you have to listen to your intuition when it says, that's not the crowd you need to go to tonight. You need to stop that. I know you wanted to go out. I know you bought the clothes, but there's some kind of crime element that's going on. And I will say this for all signs. While Mars is in Aries, don't want to give energy to this at all, but Mars in Aries, that's its strongest position. This is a very strong, positive new moon. But with Mars in Aries, people can try to fire off their anger, work with fire, explosive type of things. Just look at the storms that have been coming across the United States. I mean, Tennessee's supposed to, get some of that, tomorrow night. What have I been doing? I've already been blessing the weather. I've already been giving thanks to the weather spirits. And just because it's happening in Texas or Oklahoma or whatever, this mystic prays for those areas. When I see there's going to be hot storms and tornadoes or hurricanes or earthquakes, I'm going into meditation and praying for that region, and I'm calling on the light, and I'm calling on the protection for all that are in that zone. Just because I don't live there doesn't mean I don't have, as you say, Joe, a community of light, a teamwork of we're all Earth citizens, so and let's send light to the animals and the children and the casualties of war. And I think today is even National Honor the Military Day. I'm pretty sure. So I'll do it for the people that took their body and the dogs and went to war for their beliefs and took their physical bodies into danger. I honor you, I respect you, and hoorah.
Right
Period.
On. Right on for that, man. Like I'm totally with you on that. I'm going to try something different here. I got a caller here. It looks like, what is the area code? I'm sorry, 828 area code. You're on the air. Who are you speaking with? 828. Can you hear me? That's you. Maybe they can't hear me. Let's try this.
I can hear you.
I can hear them too, but it's I could tell there was something wrong with the call when they called in. But I think there's, I don't know. Like, I just want everybody to know that sometimes it is the hardest thing to do, right? So when you have to do something, even in your chart, when you look in your chart, it's like, damn, your chart goes against some of the stuff that you have to do to grow out of certain things. But that's the idea. It's really hard sometimes, but you still got to do it, It's growth, though. It's still growth. Everybody that was either for us or against us, when you get on the planet about 45 to 50 years old, you start to realize when you can look back and realize that it all led to the strong person that you are. And one of my favorite sayings is, and I mean it with all my heart, is, are you going to let it make you better, or are you going to let it make you bitter? Right. It's one letter that's changed in that, the word better or bitter. But I think the vowel that you choose is incredibly important. 828, can you hear us now? Are you there?
I am.
Okay, who are we speaking with?
This is Lisa.
Lisa, you might be getting a little bit of feedback. You're just going to have to ignore it. Sorry about that. But do you have a question for Mary, or do you want her to pull her card?
Just pull a card. I'm at work, and I have to be, quiet. My client is asleep.
I was wondering why that. Okay.
How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, thank you for sitting with someone so they feel safer when they sleep. That's such an overlooked responsibility of grace. Glory is in the room. You got the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands moves into the fire sign. She is the season of autumn, So it pulls in Libra, even though Libra is an air sign, because we look at the autumn signs are first Libra, Scorpio, then Sagittarius. But the Queen of Wands has a feline. She has a black cat. She has sunflowers, which are not quite blooming yet here in my area, but the vines are growing. All the vines are beginning to grow up, and the little sunflowers are coming up. So she has to do with, she's working on being able to express herself. The Queen of Wands has worked on herself internally, and now she's ready to express herself in more private ways, in more personal ways, not so much with work or family or prioritizing that in public things or, restaurants and such, but it has more to do with, there's a cycle coming in for you to where you're going to be able to actually have a special someone that you're able to share that dance with. I definitely feel that with the whole Mars and Aries, and then this being the element of fire, the magic wand, a
little bit of passion.
The passion. Yeah, I feel like I see it as passion returned. Like we go to the bank and we make a deposit, and then we have some credit, and then we have to take something out, but we've got it in there as credit. And I feel like the credit that's built up in your personal development account is going to afford you a more balanced lover partner coming in, a leveled up passion.
Nice. Sounds
Good.
like a plan.
Yeah, call us back and let us know. I mean, you don't have to give us the details unless you want to, but call us back and let us know.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Thanks.
You guys have a blessed night. Thanks for what y'all do. Appreciate y'all very much.
You too. Thank you.
Heartfelt gratitude. That's the ticket. Heartfelt gratitude.
Queen of Wands always does me in. That's that impulsive side of me,
Well,
sometimes
she's witty.
Sometimes I can see it in certain people, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's the devil," but
no, the Queen of.
But it's always it's always the good side of the devil.
If any of the queens are going to cut you or hold you up by the short hairs or be able to have their finger on the noose, it's going to be the Queen of Swords, Queen of Spades.
All right.
She's like
the Queen of Swords for sure. Yeah, I've felt that before. Ouch.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. 216 area code. You're on the air. You might get a little feedback. I apologize. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, it's Monica from Ohio. How are you guys? Love you, Mary and Joe.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The show it was so great tonight. He had me pegged.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I have been struggling for about a month and a little bit more health-wise, and I think I would like a card to see where I'm going from here. I'm on the way up, but I want to know how much better I'm going to get.
The worst is behind you. The past card that fell out was the high number of the swords. So you're done. You're done with anyone stabbing you in the back. You're done with carrying it all the weight on your shoulders. Only it's like enough is enough. Enough is enough. And your future card is the Knight of Pentacles. All 4 knights are harbingers, are messengers. They bring the news. And so this night is the Pentacles are the earth signs. So it's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and like the King of Pentacles has all the grapes all around him and everything, and you'll see some of the bull heads on most of the tarot decks on his throne. So it's about steadfastness, and always with Taurus, let the time happen to heal. Even people I've met that get like serious surgeries, like their back or their knee replacement.
I'm like, it's aged me 10 years, I think. I'm getting tired.
Well,
I sit here thinking about what I could be doing, and I can't do it.
Well, so say to yourself, I'm rising up. I'm the Phoenix. Taurus is the opposite of Scorpio. I'm rising up. I will, my tangible focus, when I think things like it's not happening for me yet, I'll look around the room and I'll see the things that I did manifest, that I did buy, that I did create, that was given to me, and I can hydrate more. I can research while I'm healing. I can go online, and you're going to have to look on several different places. There's so much fake news out there now. But I'm going to start to, study that herb and do that smoothie and, eat some more one-ingredient foods, cabbage, a banana, a beet, an apple, some pineapple. I mean, try egg. Joe's got the eggs. So, I mean, there's more protein and there's more nutrients if you can get a wild, egg, if you can get some from chickens that people have and do barter or whatever with that, it's really a perfect protein. It's a very perfect protein. So I feel focus a little bit on some of the little things that you can control. I can have chips or I can make myself an egg. And if I want to put some Celtic salt on it, you'll get every one of your amino acids if you use the Celtic gray salt, a little bit of that. Grind your own pepper. You can get that for under $3, but add a little cayenne pepper. It helps the circulation. There's lots of little things you can learn in a holistic way. This is Mother Nature time. Nature's herbs, nature's oils, soaking your feet, and Epsom salts. We've still got Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. When I get off the phone, it's going to be after midnight, but I'm still going to be doing my warm water Epsom's foot bath because it's a new moon, and I'm starting where all the nerve endings are.
Those are great.
It brings tears to my eyes because that's everything I've been going through. I put on weight because I couldn't get up, and it's just not me. And that's all I can sit and think about. Well,
don't beat yourself up. Some things you just got to do one thing at a time, and each little thing is going to make you feel even better. And you'll feel 50% better every 3 or 4 days. And the next 3 or 4 days, you're going to feel 50% better. And it's just going to be one of those journeys, You got to learn to control your mind.
It's a big journey. It's a big journey for me. Yeah. Thanks,
we got your back. You got this.
You keep saying the back thing. That's exactly where I had surgery. And it's like, my God.
Well, we are, your thoughts are, you're in our thoughts. So positive vibes towards
you.
You
guys are the best. And I want to just give you guys blessings and thank you for all you do. And I just needed to hear it, from you guys. So I'm going to go up. I have to go up.
Right on.
Yeah, you are, because you know what? Sometimes when we get flat on our back, sometimes when you get knocked out of the saddle of a horse, and there's 2 years or a year, like you said, a very long cathartic journey, it force feeds us to think about sometimes, not like Joe said, not to shame or blame yourself, but it stops us from being complacent once we go through a major healing episode. It shows us very clearly, look at all the things you couldn't do now for the last year that we took for granted before we had that illness, that surgery, or that gaining weight, losing weight. And don't blame yourself about gaining weight. Let me tell you how many people that I'm a Scorpio, and I'm the one that can sit with somebody when they're dying. So my one friend of AIDS, that his family didn't want to come around him. Another person they were bleeding out all over with cirrhosis of the liver because of drinking. I could stay in the room, didn't gross me out. I was the doula, the death doula. And I can tell you, all of those people, the one couldn't talk, they had to write, said to me, I wish I'd never, ever worried about 1 pound that I gained because all I wish I could do was taste or drink or eat something.
Right.
So don't go so hard on yourself. Sometimes in life we puff up. Sometimes in life we're a little too thin. But as my little country mama used to say, try to keep 10 to 15 pounds on you all the time, Merlin, because if you get sick, it goes away. Got to watch out for it. And a lot of that weight gain that people are going through, it's not your fault. It's the bioengineered ingredients. It's the high fructose corn syrup. It's the crap they're sneaking into the food. And I promise you, if you can try to go to some smoothies or when I added red cabbage, I call it purple cabbage because it's purple. When I just started chomping on cabbage and some cheese and some nuts instead of the bag of chips that I used to grab for, I didn't do anything different. I didn't do any extra exercise. It just 25 pounds came off of me. So I made that my TV snack. You're going to pick it. Cabbage, green cabbage, or purple cabbage. That's what you're going to eat because it's a probiotic. It settles down any digestive stuff. It helps your colon. And so your whole machinery starts working better. And I picked a Gouda cheese. One ingredient, cheese, not processed cheese food, cheese. And my cabbage. Yeah. Sometimes I just had the cabbage. Sometimes I had the cheese on the cabbage, and then sometimes I would add a banana or something else that I could do that was a one ingredient food. Olives. I mean, I've shoved my mouth full of black olives because it was the only way I was getting omega-9 for snack food. I just put them in a bottle.
I love all this.
Black olives. It's a protein. It's a perfect protein. And it's the only thing that gives us omega-9 is the olives. And so I said, you know what? I used to put them on my pizza. I switched my pizza choices to all natural, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm half Italian. I do not like cauliflower crust pizza. I do not. I'm a health advocate, but I tried that, and I'm like, oh, hell no. I'll buy the good bread. I'll buy the crust that doesn't have canola rapeseed oil in it, but no, I love cauliflower, but cauliflower crust on a pizza is like a hell no for me, just for me.
Thanks for your... I have to tell you, Mary, you had me pegged, and you really did through the whole thing. Everything you said tonight really inspired me again. I was thinking it laying in bed and on a recliner, but I have to get moving again. And I'm getting there. They said I'm okay. I just got to do the walk.
Yep, Taurus is the motivation to move the body, to cherish the body. It's the one that we have for this lifetime. So you start giving yourself affirmations of how you honor your body. You're thanking your body for accepting the surgery. Nothing is being rejected. The problem is corrected, and the glory and the grace of the Almighty I Am and the risen Christ is now healing you because you're one with it. You're one with it. You're one with the all that is. We are God-gifted our ability to be ye are temples of the living God. You are in a temple of the living God. So you simply start talking to that to take control of the wheel, as they say. You got to do it on a psychological, emotional, physical level, and just say to yourself, I'm going to get unique with my food choices because I'm going to think nutrition first.
One day at a time. One day at a time.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. One foot in front of the other. There you go. Thank you, Monica.
Thanks for calling, Monica.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Bless you guys.
All
Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye.
We'll take it. We'll allow it. We'll alchemize it. Joe, we'll take that
the
blessing.
body doesn't feel like a prison until you're in pain, right? And then you're like, it's like a... But, what the Stoics say, pain is a thing that makes you feel alive,
It'll motivate you, but you come to a crossroads in your spiritual graduations and your epiphanies where you say, wait a minute.
Stone.
When did I decide that pain was going to be the only thing that got my attention? I need to check myself.
Cauliflower pizza? Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, it's out there. I tried it. I thought, I wonder what that'll... Oh, no, the raccoons got it. They were happy to have it. I cooked that whole
Ryan
pizza.
Gable tried this crap on me when I went up to the north, and he was like, I know this place that's all vegan and all this stuff, and it's wonderful, and it tastes great. I almost hurled like 3 times eating this stuff. I'm like, I can't do it, man. I don't know what you're eating, but good on you. I can't do it. It's 11:11. Make a wish here in the Central Time. We'll take one more call. Because we're over time already. 210 area code. You're on the air. Who are we speaking with?
Oh, hello, brother Joe.
What's up?
This is Barney, man.
What's up, Barney? I like the shirt.
Hey.
I'm sorry if you're getting feedback. Barney sent me a Lighting the Voice shirt with a guitar. It's rad.
Woo!
It's definitely rad.
Thanks, man. Hey, thank you for everything, man. Love this show and the Woodwalkers. And Mary, thank you so much. Last time we spoke, you turned me on to Jonathan Goldman channel on YouTube, and
hell yeah,
some of those videos just kind of the vibrations just pierce through me on some of them, and it's influencing how I make sounds with what I do, and it's just starting to do that. It's really cool. So thank you very much for being spot on all the time on everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for validating that, and I'm so happy to hear that for you, that you're accepting the grace, and you invested in yourself. We invest in ourselves when we take the time, no matter what healer, therapist, mentor, teacher, if we take the time to dance with that knowledge and invest the time, our biggest currency is our own energy. And you did it, and you allowed those frequencies to move into. You are a music man. You have goals and visions, and you want it. And so music started to be your dancer lover. The music and the energies and the frequencies started saying, thank you for allowing me to come in and take care of the crooked places. We'll make them straight. I'm giving you a sound bath. You're receiving the high-frequency vibrations, and what's going to happen is it's going to be the creative spark, and all of that energy is going to up-level you to come more into social meetings and greetings with the people that match that vibration. Where do you meet the person when you say Holy Harmony, Jonathan Goldman, or one of his other things, and they're going to go, yeah, don't you love him? It's going to be, yeah, shaboom, tribe. Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
starts to happen.
Right on. Thank you so much. This is just great. Thank you for being here, and I love what you do, and I love this. I love this show. It's just a great thing.
I got your picture up here, and I wrote Barney, a smiley face. How about that?
Oh, cool, man. Awesome, man.
Y'all give him a follow on TikTok and YouTube. Dude just bust out some blues riffs on YouTube. One night I was just sitting here listening to him, and they actually just made me feel better. Fell asleep to it, actually. Just dude playing a solo guitar. It's the simple stuff,
Yeah,
man.
I took those down, man. I wasn't happy with the sound quality,
Oh, you
so
gotta
I'll
keep
have
them
to
there.
figure something better out here. I'm doing everything on my Android phone, and it's not conducive to trying to reproduce stuff. But I'll get there, man. I'm working on my.
But Barney, I appreciate
Yes,
your drive to success, but don't move too fast away from what Joe said.
Yeah,
Even
man,
though you didn't like the quality, you don't move too fast past the validation that Joe said, wow, you were just strumming on the guitar, and I actually was able to fall asleep with it. It helped me. It made the night better.
I don't sleep well, bro. I don't.
Yeah.
So
And so that's
I don't
huge.
either. I've had a problem with that for a long time, and that Jonathan Goldman, some of those vibes, Mary, it actually they're starting to help me physically, and I have been in a 4-year funk because of some bad mojo that's happened to me, loss of several loved ones, and other things, and it's starting to clear up. It's like a cloud's kind of dissipating, and I'm really loving that aspect. So I can't thank you enough. Really, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And you're going to see a huge lifting and really transcendent energies with the Ascended Masters full moon of Sagittarius over the 23rd, 24th, Jupiter going into Gemini. Is going to uplift even more because the frequencies start to get etheric. It's the air element. It's etheric. It's spiritual. It's our guides. It's our inspirations. It's what we aspire to do. And so the desire to be inspired and how that will affect people rather than in previous situations we've been infected or our anger or our losses infected other people temporarily. We're now going to be able to shift that to be affected by music, by nature. Taurus is music and dance as well. For the next 20-some days until we get to the 21st, the Taurus is going, nature will kiss you in areas you didn't even know that was needing a kiss. Get out there. The sound frequencies of the crow or the goldfinch or the woodpecker pecking at the tree, and hearing the cicadas. I'm going out on the deck after this to soak my feet and listen to those bugs that come up every 17 years because it's a heart. Right. It's a drumming.
Or the rugged sound of electric guitar into a Android phone. Yeah, sounds good to me.
Well, I'll work on it. But thanks. I appreciate both of you very much. I really appreciate the Void Walkers, man. Cool people, and I love the show, man.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for your support too. I mean, you've been supporting the show a lot lately, asking other people to support it, just hitting me up on Messenger. You don't know how much that does for this show and me too, dude. You're a good friend, a good listener, and much appreciated, man. More than you know.
And a medicine man. He's a music medicine man.
That's right.
That's right. Man, I'm not religious, but the only word is I feel blessed, man, because of you two and the show and the support and there's no other show that I've found really anywhere that's doing what you do, Joe.
Thanks, brother.
Awesome.
Thank you. Man.
Awesome.
Thanks, brother.
Glory.
Glory to that too. Is that all you wanted
That's
to say?
right.
Is that all you wanted to call in
That's
for?
all. I just wanted to pop in and give a shout and tell you both thank you very much. You're awesome human beings and Void Walkers rule, man. The show rules. Lighting the Void, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
And much help.
That's heartfelt right there.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you all.
If
Good
I
night.
hear any more of this, I'm going to cry, and I can't do it. I'm not going to cry right now. Thanks,
that's also, whenever we cry, that's the waterfalls of our chakras. That's the cleansing and the baptism of the chakras. It's the front and the back door of the chakras when we cry. When something makes us cry and moves us to emotion, rich emotion, there's more toxins. They prove there's more toxins when we release with tears than our urine or our sweat glands. That's the biology of it.
My dad told me the other day, he was like, "You're the only guy I know that will cry every day and still punch holes in the wall." I'm like, I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, he goes, "Sometimes," my dad, he's like, "Sometimes I think you're a wuss, then other times you scare the hell out of me." I said, "Welcome to Aries, Sun, Cancer, Moon. Get used to it, right? Like, you still ain't used to it yet,
Oh, I love it. That's funny. One day, worry knocked on the door. Fear knocked on the door. Faith answered. There was nobody there.
Is that the message? Yeah.
Your dad and my grandma and all these people that come up with all these great mountain or regional sayings. I cherish those kind of medicine things. And Joe, I wanted to tell you, remind me when we get off air, I've got a guest for you to interview. I like the way you're blending the scriptural, metaphysical, astrological stuff, and I've got just the guy for you that does the biblical astrological stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm telling you guys, you're going to love hearing. He goes by Archer. He's been a friend of mine for 30 years, and we've done this dance of words, and when we two talk, people are spellbound, so I want to connect him with Joe and the Void Walkers. So he won't stay up this late, of course. He's in my region, but Joe could do a taped thing with him, and I don't even think he even needs me to be involved in the mix. I'd like to see Joe and the Archer take off with some celestial magic. Yeah, that'll be good.
All right. Well, we'll get him on. Last message of the night, Mary, for the main, if we wrapped it up into a bow tonight.
It's renewal. We're being recalibrated. We're being refreshed. And it's a brand new dawning with this Taurus. We have a pasture in front of us, and it's a pasture that has the possibilities of everything pleasurable, everything profitable, and everything peaceful. That's the best of Taurus. So get you some.
Go get you some. Make sure you guys get a reading. Go to marydusina.com. For all of you that got a free reading tonight, you know what to do. Call us back. Let us know how it went. Sweet dreams, everybody. Night-night. And we'll see you next time, right?
Love all.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. Oh, wait. There was something else I was going to ask you, Mary. Somebody told me, make sure you ask Mary this, and damn it, I forgot. How long are your readings? I've never asked that because people are like, well, how long are they, right?
They have choices. They can do the hour reading, or they can do, I make the 90-minute reading a little bit more of a price break because most of the time people have more questions, and even though I'm a rapid-fire talker, and they're not going to have long pauses in the timing of it, so I either do, if you go on my website, you can get an hour reading, or you can get a 90-minute reading. I feel like more than that's kind of overwhelming for people because I bring a lot to the table because I've been doing this for so many years and lifetimes. So, Joe can connect you with my email, and my Facebook page is Cosmic Conditions, just like this show. And if you email me, but you can go on the website, and if you open up the little box up top, it'll say services, and you can go look at that. But just to cut to the chase, there's an hour or there's a 90-minute reading. There's an hour and a half reading, and so that way you can just size it up and see what you want to do. And then, of course, once a month, I'm here pro bono with our lovely host, Joe, and I'm, still giving of my time and doing all that, and Joe and I both are taking over 2 hours of our time to be here with you. So I'm telling you, invest in yourself because it'll save you money, no matter who you get a reading from. If your heart's tugged towards someone, then do that because it's going to help you be able to get the disposition of the course ahead with a lot of insight, and I understand when they say knowledge is power, because it is. It helps us be able to set the course and obtain the goal.
Set the course, obtain the goal. You guys make sure you go to the website, again, marydusina.com. If you can support the Fringe FM, please do so. We love all your support, and we put it in a big circle most of the time. You know, we try to keep things going. And you also mentioned too, real quick, that is this the time that we do the one nice thing for somebody, that pay it forward thing? I think this is that time, isn't it?
Absolutely. Just like I was telling you about the gal at the crystal shop over in Sweetwater, Tennessee. She had just, in the course of conversation, mentioned her mother had just died. And this is a younger girl, the little boy. And I said, oh, like that. And so she said, yeah, I go every other day to some other city in Tennessee because she had 6 dogs, and the dogs mattered the most to her. Tomorrow, I'm going with 3 friends to lunch. Tomorrow, I'm paying it forward. I've got a couple of big bags of the good shit, dog food, that I'm taking to her because I know how fast 6 dogs can go through food, and I'm taking her those rose petals so she can have it in her apothecary, and there's not going to be any money exchange. She's not going to give me a barter out of the shop or anything. She don't even know I'm coming. But I'm going to bring, for the honor of her mother passing away, Spirit directed me. Now, there's a place you can pay it forward with kindness. And I love animals. So I'm blessing dogs, which I love. I love all animals, but dogs are just like the best companions. And so I'm going to gift, the 20-pound bags of dog food to the dogs, that I know is healthy and it's a holistic food. And I'm going to take her rose petals. And I'm going to say, Spirit talked, I listened. Yeah, I always find a way to pay it forward. I don't need the applause. I don't need the attention. But I know for my own good and my own health and my own wellness and my spiritual graduations, no matter what, if I have $1 in my pocket, I'm going to find a way to give, because that's the magic. There you go. Pay it forward. Yep.
Pay it forward, y'all. We love you. Sweet dreams. Night. See you next new moon right here on Lighting the Void. Good night, y'all.